Hey guys, welcome to the Viva Free Bus. Just wanted to, we just took a trip to Colorado, and I just wanted to do a little quick video about my experience there in Colorado. I had a great time in Colorado. I lived there for 2 years. My wife and I did in from 2018 to 2020, and it was good. It was great. The reason I want to do this video is because my wife and I used to have this little ongoing battle between which state was better. Because she's a California girl. California is her chosen state. She's been there forever and ever. And I was a Texan, obviously, but Colorado, I kept telling her, was every bit as good as California. Sometimes I'd even tell her it's better than California. She never believed me, but some parts of Colorado is just amazing. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we liked about it. And first thing that comes to mind is outdoor activities. If you've seen any of my videos, you know we're outdoor people. We do like to do things outdoors. And Colorado was perfect for outdoor activities for at least 4 months out of the year. The rest of the time it was snow coming down. It's cold. It's 30 degrees, 20 degrees. It's below zero in a couple of places, a couple of times. It's a different kind of cold. Like over here, we're talking about the heat between California and Texas. Over here, everybody says, yeah, but it's a dry heat. And it's true, too. Like Colorado, the cold there, it's 13 degrees outside, and my wife and I were in Castle Rock. Not this time, we just left, but when we used to live there. 13 degrees outside, and we're looking at each other, and it's pretty warm. It's not that bad. It's 13 degrees. How can 13 degrees be nice? But it was a nice day. The sun was out. It was bright. Snow everywhere on the ground, and you could tell it was nice. 13 degrees. But anyway, this last trip that we went down to Denver area, we stayed in Denver. We stayed in a Motel 6. Actually, it says Denver downtown. Don't believe it. It's not downtown. It's old, and it is definitely not a recommended place for you to stay. But anyway, we only stayed there 3 days. It wasn't too bad. We don't like to stick around much anyway. We just sleep there, get up early, take off, and go to the mountains or whatever. But well, like I said, California versus Colorado, they both have mountains. Both have pretty much the same demographics, I guess. There's a big Mexican, what do you call it, community in the Denver area. It's really just like this area here in Stockton area. Lots of anything you want over there. Mexican food. I don't know which. I think it's El Salvador that makes pupusas. They have a lot of those pupusas there. Restaurants that sell those. And they're the little breaded. Anyway, you'll have to look them up. But it's a great area there too for that. Beers. Denver beers are some of the best in the world, especially for my palate. It's a cold climate, so they do nice, thick, heavy beers like an Irish stout or a Russian stout, stuff like that. Oatmeal stouts, real nice, and they're really good. I think the only place I've had that was close to it. I haven't been drinking everywhere, right? But I spent a couple of weeks in St. Paul, Minnesota, and some good beers there too. So they're comparable, but I still think Denver wins out. Maybe because I spent so much time there. But the mountains were amazing. They're amazing mountains. We would get lost in the woods on purpose. We would take off driving. We'd go through Boulder. You got that canyon road there. You can hit that canyon road, and then you can just wind around for all day. Really, you could end up in you could end up at the Garden of the Gods there in Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs. You can just go get lost. It's fun. You can find a little river that you can stop next to and eat, cook out. We used to have a tub or a crate, I guess you'd call it, with our stuff. We had a stove in there, a propane stove. We always have a jacket with you when you're in Colorado because you never know that weather changes like that. But propane stove. We had stuff for wet gear. We had tarps. We had anything you needed to cook. And we almost always had something planned that we would take with us. Like either we're going to make sandwiches out there, or we're gonna go and cook something. Like we would cook steaks out there. We would cook whatever, pork chops, chicken, whatever you want. We would just have a full meal out there, and I love that. It's pretty nice. You could just pull over somewhere right next to a stream. Sometimes the road's busy because it's like California as far as population goes in this area. There's a lot of people in Colorado, especially the Denver area. But it was great. We had a great time there. And again, like I said, you have to be prepared though, because the weather changes on you like that. We had our nice warm jackets on, and the good thing is they there's plentiful there. You can look around and see what the locals wear and get warm like that. But as far as demographics, like I said, everybody's there. You have all kinds of people, all kinds of walks of life there. Same thing in California. Mountains, California has the mountains. Denver area, the Rocky Mountains beat the California Sierra Madres or Sierra Mountains any day. So again, there's nothing. I have nothing against Pinecrest or nothing against. Obviously, you know, I love it. I've already made a video about it. But talking about Pinecrest, the whole area around Reno, the whole area around South Lake Tahoe, it's beautiful, but it's nothing like the Colorado Mountains, the Colorado Rockies. So they do win out there. As far as the people goes, everybody's nice in both states. Really, where we stayed was Boulder's a college town, so there's a lot of college kids all the way around that whole Denver area. There's a bunch of young people out. Obviously, weed is legal there, just like it is here. It's recreational over there. I think they might have been the first state that legalized it. But you can see people all over the place, and you smell weed everywhere. But most people are pretty nice. They're respectful. They don't push it on you, obviously. You know, we don't do any of that kind of stuff. So, but I don't care if people do it. Again, to each their own, right? So, it was people out there. We were on some boulders, and there's a little outcrop that you go out there. It's like in a straight line, and on both sides you could fall down. On all three sides, really, it's like a peninsula. But there was a little I say young lady. My wife remembers her being an older lady. But anyway, there was a female out there, you know, smoking, getting her smoke on, right? And we wanted to do that outcropping too. We wanted to take that little walk out there too. So we waited a little bit. We did some more hiking. We came back. She just got up, came out, did her little spiritual thing that she was doing. You could tell she was in the moment, and left. And then we did our turn. We got out there, took a couple pictures, and enjoyed the moment ourselves. I mean, we didn't smoke anything, so I don't want to make that correlation there. But we went out there ourselves, and we sat around, enjoyed the moment, and we left. So another thing about that Colorado has is 14ers. If y'all know what I'm talking about when I say 14ers, 14,000 foot mountains. I took my daughter, she came to visit when I was living there. Her and my son-in-law came to visit. We went all the way to, I can't remember which one. It wasn't Bierstadt. Oh, Mount Evans. We went up to Mount Evans there. And if you can only drive so far to walk to the top. You gotta, it's probably a couple hundred yards. It's not really far. But I got out of the car in the parking lot, and I just walked to the start of the trail to get up to the top. I couldn't breathe. I mean, I thought I was really gonna die. I felt like I was breathing through a thimble, man. I couldn't breathe. If you've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. Or maybe you don't, because my wife and my daughter had no problem with it. They got to all the way to the top. They were looking at me like, "What? You okay? What's the matter?" And my son-in-law was just like me. Would take a few steps and like, "Oh man, we can't." And he's a football player. He's a younger guy, you know. Anyway, it was kind of weird that those two were fine, and we were struggling for a little bit there. I mean, we made it to the top. You just have to realize, put in your mind, you're not at normal level, so you cannot do what you normally do. We would take off, walk a little bit, stop, wait a little bit, kind of get adjusted in your lungs there, and go a little bit further to the top. And man, I'm telling you, the view up there was beautiful. Another thing about Colorado, everybody likes to go see those views. And I'm going to tell you about a story. I saw this one guy at the very top of Mount Evans, and he was an older gentleman. I don't know, he was probably in his 70s, maybe a little frail. And there's a big rock right here, and then there's another rock right there, and with the space, it's a chasm, I guess. It's a space about 3 feet, maybe 3 feet wide, that you have to jump over to get over to the other side to get on that other section. And I did it. I got up there, I took some pictures, you know, raised my hands up, because, you know, you feel like you're on the top of the world. You're above the clouds, you're looking way down. The views of Mount Evans are beautiful there. Amazing. My wife loved it too. That's one of her, she had a little spiritual moment there too. So it's a great place. But this guy looked at me, and he I could tell he wanted to get up there, and I could tell he was scared. And I said, "Hey, you want to come on up?" And he looked at me, and he was like, "Yeah." And I reached out my hand to him, because I was already coming off. You know, I was gonna stay up there with him. I said, "I'll help you. Come on." I reached out my hand to him, and his wife, I'll never forget. His wife was like, I forgot the guy's name. we'll just call him Andy. I'm just pulling that out there. She said, Andy, don't do that, or something like that. Anyway, she stopped him, and he just looked over at her, and he thought, that's probably a good idea. I'm not going to do that. And he left. And I've never forgotten that moment. It's been about 3 years now, and I've never forgotten it like it was yesterday, because I felt bad for that guy. I was like, come on, I'm here, I can help you up. I mean, it was probably maybe 6 feet wide, something like that, but he wanted to do it, and it's probably a chance in a lifetime. Some people only go to, like me, I've only been, now since we moved, I haven't been back. We were there on this past trip, but I didn't go back to Mount Evans. I did do the whole Lookout Mountain, where we drive up the top of that in Golden. It's another thing I liked about Colorado. Golden, Colorado has a beautiful little spot where you can climb up to the top. If you look at my profile there, you can see one of them where I'm at the top of the mountain, and you're looking at over all the city lights over Golden, and you can even see Denver out there in the background real far. And it's a beautiful spot. I went up that in a motorcycle, so I guess that's another reason I have an affinity for Colorado. I learned how to ride a motorcycle there. I'd ridden before, but I actually got my license. I bought like 4 motorcycles while I was there, and it was great. It was a great time. Maybe that's why I've got a. That's not true. It's a beautiful place, regardless of that. But Colorado is right up there with California. Honestly, the only thing that California beats it is for the weather. 2 things really. The weather that's why we left Colorado. It's too cold, and California's got the perfect weather for me. It's like right now, my parents and my family really is all in Texas, and it is 30 degrees over there. There's ice on the roads. You've probably seen the news, and they're getting it pretty bad these past couple of days. And I'm looking out the window. It's 60 degrees today. It's gonna be 60 again today, like it was yesterday. And I'm gonna do some work around the house today. We're gonna cook out and do things like that. But that's it. And my second thing is beach. Colorado, obviously, it's landlocked. There's no beaches around. They got some nice rivers, some streams, some beautiful areas that you can go, and lots of outdoor activities like there is here. But they don't have a beach, and I just like going to the beach. At Highway 1, like I said on my last video, or one of my other videos, is that Highway 1, the Pacific Coast Highway, is beautiful, man. You just can't beat it. So I would say the Pacific Coast Highway is as beautiful as the Colorado mountains, if you can make that connection. They're obviously not the same, but they're both on par as far as beauty goes. And this last trip that we went down, we didn't really. It's not like we enjoyed it as much as the first time we went. We still had the restaurants. Again, the Central Market there in Denver is one of the best places you can go and chill. But I guess because we sucked all the marrow out of the bone while we were there. We were busy for 2 straight years, basically. We wore ourselves down just because I wasn't sleeping much, but I was working nights. When I'd get home, sleep a little bit, we'd take off, we'd go to the mountains and see what we can see, go eat some wings, because it's a big wing area. There's lots of hot wings, beer, pizza, another one. I guess everybody has pizza, but there was always things to do there. So I have an affinity for Colorado, and I probably always will, but I don't think I'll ever live there again. 1, it's too cold, and 2, like I said, I've already done it, been there, done that. I didn't see all the state, but I got to see quite a bit. We were definitely Rolling Stones while we were living there. But anyway, California is still number 1. So all that time I was teasing my wife, I honestly did think it was on par with California, but all things said and done, California's still number 1, but Colorado's right there number 2. So if you ever get a chance to go and visit Colorado, I highly recommend it. The Denver area, got to see Boulder, and got to see Golden, Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs right there, and Idaho Springs in a little small town where we just passed by there to get to. Anyway, go visit. You'll enjoy this. You'll be glad you did.